Okay, welcome to the Student Leadership 101. You don't need a title to lead module. And let's go ahead and jump in. Some of the learning outcomes that you're going to learn in this module will be for you to examine the role of a student leader. So, what exactly does a student leader do? We're going to talk a little bit about um, discovering the benefits of becoming a student leader, and that's very important because we live in a me culture here in America, and so um, it's going to be very important to figure out what are the benefits of becoming a student leader. And then, of course, the last learning outcome is going to be explore your leadership qualities because, as the title suggests, you don't need a title to lead. Everyone is a leader, whether they want to admit it or not. It's just a question of um, who are you leading and what type of energy do you have with your leadership? Are you leading people in a positive manner? Or are you leading uh, others in a negative manner? And for that matter, even yourself. So that's something to consider. So those are some of the learning outcomes. I want to start off with this quote, and it is leadership is not a position, it's action. And I don't quite remember who said it. I want to say it was Franklin D. Roosevelt, but I think this embodies what leadership really is about. I mean, these days, many students are concerned with how many leadership positions um, can they put on their resume and but they don't understand that leading is definitely servitude. But in order to serve, you have to take action. It's not about positioning. For example, um, if you're out here helping the less fortunate, they don't care about what your title is. What they're concerned about is, can you help me? And it's the same way with being a student leader. You're helping those student leaders out there who I'm sorry, those students out there who are just looking to not only be inspired, but they're looking for someone to help them solve whatever problem that they have. And we don't know those problems are all the time, but the key is they don't care about your position. They only care about what you can do for them, how you serve them. So let's take a quick assessment. I want you to grab uh, a piece of paper and a pen or another means to write this because I want you to write down these questions. In your opinion, what is a student leader? Let's start there. Everyone has different ideas about what a student leader is, just like what success is. You know, that's one definition that isn't the same. You could ask a million people and you would get a different answer according to the individual. So, but what is a student leader to you? And the same can apply. You can ask many students, and they'll say to you, well, it means this for this student, but means something completely different for another. Another question would be, why do you want to become a student leader? Why is this important to you? And the reason why the why is so important is because when you get to be in a position of authority or when you are a student leader, it's going to be the why that's going to keep you going. You're going to run into challenges. You're going to have people who you will not get along with. You will have things that will not go your way. But you have to be committed to the why. You have to be committed to why am I doing this? Because you can be doing a lot of other things. And if you're going to suffer through a position and you don't really have a good reason as to why you're doing it, then it's probably not going to be enjoyable to you. What organizations were you a part of in the past? Many of you that are taking this course have been student leaders for a very long time. Some of you have been student leaders since you were in elementary school. And when I say that, I mean, maybe you had some type of title at that age. Some of you that are taking this course are non-traditional students, so you were managers and leaders at your job, and so um, what organizations were you a part of in the past? And let me take it a step further. Even though this question is not listed here, What lessons did you learn? I mean, what did you learn about yourself as a leader in terms of your leadership style? What did you learn? That's something to keep in mind because I think as a student, as a leader, you're constantly evolving, and you hope to just get better. So those are some questions that you want to keep in mind. So if you want to, you can go right ahead and pause the video before we move on to the next section just to answer these questions, and then unpause it and go to the next section. So I'll give you an opportunity to do that, and we'll go to the next section. Okay, student leadership defined. My definition is certainly a student leader is a student that is a contributing member of the campus community. Now, notice I did not say that a student leader holds an official position, officer position in a student organization. It's not about that, like I said, and you'll see why I define it in this way. So, why become a student leader? Let's talk a little bit about that. What are your reasons? You were asked the question before, but what are your reasons? What were you able to come up with? How many reasons do you have? And are these reasons connected to maybe some of your long-term goals? So are you becoming the president of, let's say, the math club because eventually, you want to learn how to work with other mathematicians? I'm not sure if that's a great example or not, but the point is, what are your reasons for becoming a student leader? Are you doing it? Some student leader positions are paid for. Are you doing it for the benefits? Some student leadership positions allow students to get housing for free. I mean, what are your reasons for doing it? Internally speaking, what are student leadership benefits that you can expect? From an internal standpoint, I believe that you learn more about who you are, and that's very valuable because when you know who you are, there are things that you know off the bat that you're not going to participate in because you know who you are. Maybe you're the type of leader where you're not one to get up and do a lot of speaking. Maybe you're the silent leader type. Maybe you are more of the behind the scenes type of leader. This is excellent to know because when you're going for a job, you want to know who you are so you can articulate there. But also, the other side of this is you will know what type of company you're going to want to work for. You may not be the type that wants to be out there publicly speaking about this or about that. You're going to improve on your leadership weaknesses, but also your strong points as well. But this is very important to understand what your weaknesses are because, again, when you're in that interview, they want to know what they are. And even if you're not in a interview, it's just good to know what are the things that you need to improve upon because maybe you want to spend this year focusing on how to improve some of those weaknesses. I think another internal student leadership benefit is that you're going to gain more confidence. As a student leader, I'm sure a lot of my confidence came from there. Now, as a professional speaker, I do believe my confidence went to the next level, but it really started with student leader because when I really figured out that, hey, I know how to set goals and get things done, and I know how to work well with people, that changed my confidence level. It improved my confidence level. And I think also the last benefit of becoming a student leader is it continues to challenge you to get better. I think as a student leader, you're just going to learn more about yourself and it's going to continue to challenge you to get better. And that's maybe the ultimate benefit because you're going in a position one way and you're coming out completely different or at least enhanced. So that's always a great thing. Let's talk a little bit about the external benefits. You obviously are meeting and helping people. That's always a positive and a great thing. You're going to be part of something greater than yourself. So it's not just about you. It's about you work with other people collectively in order to achieve uh, particular goals. Um, Being an advocate for your peers. I mean, it's great to be able to sit at the table with administrators and voice the opinions of your fellow students. You are a voice for the voiceless. That's a great thing. Money, as I told you before, some institutions actually pay their student leaders with actual money, or they give them some type of compensation, room or room and board. I've heard of some schools giving their student leaders cell phones and book vouchers and even in some institutions even cars, believe it or not. So it just depends. Resume builder and giving you experience. Of course, by you having the ability to put this on your resume, it makes you a much more attractive candidate for a potential employer. And when you can articulate that experience, uh, that that will help you be able to explain to them how you are able to provide more value to that organization. And then there's networking opportunities. You never know who you're going to meet as a student leader. Many student leaders are responsible for bringing certain speakers to campus. They're also responsible for being the dignitaries for their institutions, so they're ambassadors. And as a result, you're meeting a lot of different people. So there are a lot of opportunities that open up as a result of your student leadership experience. I want you to think about this for a second. This is the think about it section. What other benefits can you think of? So what are some things that I may have missed that you know at your institution? If I become a student leader, here are going to be my benefits. So I want you to think for a moment and, of course, pause the video and think about these two questions. But what are other benefits you can think of? What are things specific to your institution that would be good reasons for you to become a student leader? And then, of course, list at least 3 benefits that will make it worth your time. Listen, time is all that we have. You can always get more money, but once your time is gone, it's gone. I'll never be, 17 again. No matter how much money I get, no matter how much I wish upon a star, I'm never going to be 17 years old again. I don't want to be, but my point is, time is the most valuable commodity that we have on this planet because that's all we have. So I want you to really get clear about the benefits that will make it worth your time, because your time is so, so, so important. So you can, again, take an opportunity to pause the video to answer this question, but also write down these 3 benefits. Opportunities for leadership. There are a couple of opportunities you can have. You can join an organizational club. That's the easiest way to do it. Just go to a organizational meeting and just sit in the meeting. You don't necessarily have to join the first time you go, but you definitely want to attend a meeting first to see if it's something that would be that's for you. I think being a good example. There are some student leaders out there, unfortunately, that are in positions and are affiliated with organizations, but they're not good role models. So maybe these are students that live one way, Monday through Thursday, but then on the weekends, they're consuming, too much alcohol or using drugs or just doing things that don't have a level of integrity. So being a good example, I think, is an opportunity for you to lead, because when people see that you are a person who has integrity and who leads with integrity, I think more people are going to want to follow. Remember, leadership is not a position, it's action. So if your actions are filled with integrity and fairness, people are going to want to definitely lead you. You can start your own organization. This is something that I was able to do when I was in undergrad, and not because there were some organizations that I did not feel connected to. One of the reasons why I decided to start an organization was because I wanted to offer something that I felt was missing with the institution. And so I was able to put together an organization, and fortunately for me, many people joined, and it was a good experience. You can run for a position, but like I said before, you might want to become a part of organization before you do that. Some people don't, though. I mean, I was one of those people. I was never involved in student government association until I actually ran for office. And like I said, some people that's not uh, their way to get there. Some people lead other organizations. They decide to, hey, I want to run for office. And then of course you can just volunteer. You don't have to be committed to a particular organization. You can just go volunteer. I mean, there's plenty of volunteer activities and service activities out there. There's many people in this world that need your help. So it's not about always joining or becoming a executive board member. It's just about service. Okay, membership requirements. Usually some of the requirements entail going to actual meetings. I mean, how can you really be a member when you never go to any of the meetings? And let me also say this too, for those people who like to show up late, going to meetings, getting there before it starts on time says a lot about your character, and people watch you. People will watch you if you're not coming to your meetings, if you're late all the time. Event planning and promotion. A lot of times when you're in an organization, you're gonna have to plan events and promote these events. So, you're gonna have to, let's say if you're putting together a barbecue, you gotta, the actual barbecue, but also you want to get the word out and let everyone know what you're doing and what your organization is doing. Some membership requirements include you paying dues. Now, I will tell you, with many of the paying dues, it's usually with the fraternity and the sorority organizations where you have to pay your dues. Some other organizations require you the same thing too. Like some of the honor societies require you to pay a some type of membership fee. So that's another thing to consider. Do I want to join this organization? Because maybe you don't have a lot of money. Maybe you don't. Teamwork. You have to learn how to play well with other people. There is no such thing as an organization of one. There's no organization of one. So, like they say, there's no I in team. The same thing. They expect you to be a good team player. And then, of course, just to serve. And I cannot stress this enough. Leadership is not a position, it's action. And that action is about service. So that's what's required of you as a member. Okay, when choosing an organization, there are two different types of organizations, generally speaking. You have your social organizations, and those are groups whose primary purpose is to promote activities of a social or recreational nature. As I said before, you got your fraternities and sororities. Many times they're social. And then you have other organizations who, predominantly throw, social events, barbecues, parties, things like that. But that's not everyone's thing. And then you have your academic educational organizations whose purpose is to promote activities of an educational nature. So part of it is, yes, to have fun, but it's also to inform you. So they may sponsor bringing in a speaker or a lecturer, or they may do things that really are aimed at getting you to see things a little bit differently or to inform you of something. So I'm gonna give you a couple examples. Educational club would be, let's say, your English club or your computer club, different honor societies, Spanish club. Your social ones may be, again, your fraternities, sororities, campus activities boards. Now, what a campus activity board is, in case you don't know, they typically are the organization that plans a lot of major events on a campus. So they might be responsible for bringing in that artist for your homecoming, or they may be responsible for a certain big event that happens, every year, like let's say a spring fling. Many campuses have a spring fling where they bring out, the food, but also you have um, the moon bounce and other, activities. It's kind of like a carnival almost, but sometimes the campus activities boards, they're responsible for that. Then you got your Asian club, you got your French club, you got your Latin, you got your black club. So these are all social clubs. So it just depends on, again, what you have an affinity towards. So student leader responsibilities. A student leader role includes you got to plan campus events, connect other students to your campus, and I'm really, really big on that because I think part of your reason for being a student leader is to help build community. And the only way you can build community is getting those students connected to the campus, getting them um, in a position and really getting them to want to be on the campus and to want to um, look at this place as their second home. Serving as a liaison between students and campus administration. So again, there will be some issues that may arise, and you have to be the voice for the voiceless. There's no way that administration can talk to all students on campus. Yeah, they can take a survey, but it's not like talking to them face to face. And then, of course, your role is serving the larger community through programming and community service. So let's say if your campus is located in a urban environment surrounded by a city, well, you may decide every Thursday we're going to go to the homeless shelter and volunteer at the shelter, or we're going to go to the local elementary school and tutor the kids with their homework. So it just depends. So let's talk a little bit about leadership assessment. And again, this is the time in the module that you may want to pause it just to answer a few of these questions. So what do you think makes a good student, makes a good leader? What makes a good leader? What qualities make a good leader? As a leader, what are your strengths? What are some things that you excel in, that you're really, really good at? And as a leader, what are your areas of improvement? Very, very important, because again, you want some type of uh, way to measure where you are now and where you will be. And what I would also encourage is maybe doing this every year. So at the beginning of every year, you're asking yourself these 3 questions to see if there has been any changes. So maybe as a sophomore, you weren't really good at publicly speaking. And so now maybe you have that under your belt. You're really good at public speaking. So that's no longer an area you need to improve upon. It's now one of your strengths. Continuing on, in your opinion, what is leadership? What is leadership? I asked this question earlier, but I want to ask it again because, again, what is it to you? And then write down your past leadership experiences. Many of you have served in leadership positions in the past. So what have you done recently? Now it's your turn. As we're nearing the end of this module, I want you to create a list of 3 to 4 organizations that you are interested in joining. 3 to 4 organizations you're interested in joining. Now, here's how you prospect an organization. First of all, you have to go to the meetings and take notes when you're meetings and talk to people. Ask some of the members, why they joined. Ask them what their reasons are. Also, talk to the officers. Ask them, what plans do you guys have for the organization, and what type of upcoming events you have. And this is going to give you an idea of what the happenings are in the organization. Also, if you want to take it one step further, you can talk to the advisor of the organization. You know, what plans you have, what do you expect out of your members? These are things you want to definitely know before you join, because a lot of times people join their organization because of a friend. So a friend tells them, hey man, I'm a part of this organization. You should join this organization because it's just so great and it's so wonderful. And then you join an organization and you're like, okay, I like you as my friend, but I really don't like this organization. I don't like what it stands for, or maybe I don't like the direction that they're going in. And so for some people that causes friction there. Their friendships, and you don't want that. You want to get as much information as possible before you commit your money and or your time to an organization. Another question you want to ask yourself, what do you like to do for fun? Because here's the thing, no organization that you join should ever feel like an additional job or work. And I tell you, yes, there will be times you're going to have to grind it out, but it should always be in anticipation that, hey, this is setting things up that's going to eventually be fun to do. It should never be to the point where you just don't want to do it, because in most cases, leadership positions are volunteer jobs. So, or should I say volunteer positions. And so you're not going to want to keep that position if you feel like it's no longer fun. What are you looking for in an organization? Joining an organization, maybe it's not that deep, but looking back, I wish I would have done this or thought about this. But what are you looking for in an organization? What is it that you want in your organization? Other than, hey, I want to have fun, but what types of things are you looking for? And also think from a strategic standpoint of, how can this position or organization help me in my future aspirations? If you are an accountant, if you are majoring in accounting and finance, I don't know how much help joining the anime club is going to give you, especially if you're putting that on your resume as something that you're able to do. There's no real correlation. Maybe you want to join the finance club because that's going to give you a great opportunity to network with people in that particular industry. Which, by the way, let me also say this. Many organizations are connected. There are certain conferences that they go to that can help you in your field. So an organization like NSBE stands for the National Society of Black Engineers. That's NSBE, N-S-B-E, National Society of Black Engineers. They go to annual conferences every year. They take a certain group of students every year from the campus, and they go to these conferences, and they do a lot of networking, and they learn all about the trends and the happenings in that organization. So for your major, and I would suggest this, you want to always get one organization that is tied into your major. And then you want to get another organization maybe that's fun, that's really more for a hobby. And by the way, don't rule out intramurals, because those are clubs too. I mean, you form friendships and bonds there, and a lot of times some of the best decisions are made. In fact, a lot of people talk about how on the golf course business deals are made. So, keep that in mind. And then, of course, how would joining an organization help me reach my ultimate goal of becoming a blank? This is what I've, talked about. It has to be done in a very strategic way. So those are some things to consider as you move forward in your search for a organization. And again, realizing that you don't need a title to lead. So here's some of the key points I want to sum up here. Joining a student organization will help you enhance your leadership skills. No doubt, no question. So whatever student organization you join, more than likely is going to help make you a better leader, and ultimately a better person. Opportunities will vary based on the kind of organization you join. The example I just gave with the NSBE, if you join that type of organization, you will more than likely get some opportunities that you wouldn't if you were joining a different type of organization. If you join the Latin Club, there will be different opportunities for that. If you join SGA, there will be different opportunities for that. So it just depends on what type of opportunity you're looking for. And then you don't need a title. You don't need a title to be leader. Being a leader and does not always involve being a title. I'll give you a quick story. So when I was an area coordinator, um, unfortunately, many of the students engaged in alcohol abuse. And so I remember this one particular instance where one of the students back from a party, I guess, with too much alcohol in the system. And so my RA was actually away that weekend. And so the only person that was able to help them was their roommate. And their roommate kept them alive until the um, help was able to come and transport them to the hospital. But had that student not taken the responsibility and say, you know what, I'm going to help my roommate out, maybe that student doesn't live. And so it doesn't matter about your position. This leader, and I call her a leader because she was able to take action that ultimately saved her roommate's life. So those are the type of things that I'm talking about when I say you don't need a title to be a leader. So there's something to consider. So here are the action steps for your continued learning. For your continued learning, what are 3 resources in your environment that you have access to? We've talked about them. You have access to many different things that you can learn more about student organization. Who are 2 colleagues I can tap for support while striving to achieve my goal? Who are 2 people I can talk to right now? If you live on campus, can you talk to your RA? Maybe you can talk to your roommate, or maybe you can talk to maybe another student, a classmate. And what action step can I take in the next week? So if I'm going to join an organization, maybe your action step is going to be to just go to one of the meetings, or it could be, something else. If you, are not planning on joining an organization, maybe it is to begin thinking about, okay, how can I volunteer? So it just depends. Whatever your action steps are, they're here. So go ahead and plan them out and go for it. And in terms of additional resources with joining organizations, I would suggest that you go to your school's student activities and involvement homepage. Maybe call it something a little bit different. You can ask a classmate or an RA or even another student leader, how can I get more information about this club organization? You can go to the club advisor, your academic advisor may know some things, your resident assistant, or even a faculty member. So you can talk to all types of people to get more information about the organization. And then usually student organizations have handbooks. So you might want to see if you can read the handbook to get more information. And of course, you can always purchase my book, Up Your Org, a guide to help student leaders thrive. It talks a little bit more about what you should be looking for in an organization and how to go about joining one. But it talks about once you join an organization, what to do. So that's it, guys. This is it with this module. Thanks again for taking the opportunity to listen, and good luck.